we are looking at free flow of information, either top down or bottom up, just to ensure that the party becomes cohesive, that the party has its structures running, that there's feedback mechanism that comes from our members. That we need also to ensure that as Narc Kenya, as a party, we play our role in enhancement of multi-party democracy. How are we going to do this? One, by ensuring that our party does not die. Because if Narc Kenya dies today, it will mean we are less one party. Of the 71 registered political parties, minus Narc Kenya, they become 70. How sure are we that that trend will not be followed by other parties? So we ensure that the party survives. The party will survive if its members are active, if its organs are operational, if its structures are delivering to its constituents, it is members. We need then to look at what is our civic duty at the personal level as a member and at the party level now collectively. How do you get the nexus, that connection between your individual participation and your individual contribution in making the party strong, and how do you ensure that as you coalesce around this party becoming strong, then how does the party build into the existing in other parties? We have what we call the political parties liaison committee, which brings on board all the political parties to discuss issues, politics. It's also important for us to ensure that the regulatory framework of parties is one that enhances their existence, in which case the interface between the party and the office of the registrar of political parties must actually be up and running, because at the office of the registrar of political parties, that is where the existence of a party is actually domiciled. And then the relationship between the party and IBC in terms of fielding of candidates and ensuring that the electoral field is free, fair, and the elections become verifiable and simpler as enshrined in Article 38 of the Constitution, then becomes very key. So that we have a tripartite kind of arrangement between the party, the office of the registrar, and IBC. So that triangle then becomes very critical for you as a member of Narc Kenya in terms of looking at the regulatory framework. This also ties in terms of where the laws are made. That because the fact that we are non-parliamentary doesn't mean that we do not have ideas. So if we have an idea, then we go and make presentation. I want to say I have had the privilege of making submissions to what we call parliamentary committees on behalf of the party. At any moment that there is public participation, a new law that is being enacted, and Parliament actually gives a notice that there will be public participation. As a party, we have always given our position. So where you are also, don't hesitate. When there is a public participation for your county assembly, do not shy off. Get the facts as they are, go and make a presentation, and will do you a lot of good to say, as a member of Narc Kenya, or as an official of Narc Kenya, or as an MCA from Narc Kenya Party, this is my contribution to this. In that way, you are helping to work on the regulatory framework, that laws that are going to be churned out are laws that are not going to be against you, laws that are not going to be offensive, and in any case, you not complain that this law is bad. Yet during the formative stage of this law, you just stayed off. People say that good people will never be good when they are sitting out there and allowing bad people to take the stage. Now, when there are amendments being proposed, you definitely cannot sit and not participate. And this now brings us to the current Bibingine conversation that Kenya promulgated its constitution in 2010. Now, the 2010 constitution of Kenya has actually been appreciated as the most progressive, especially under its Bill of Rights, Article 4, that has guaranteed its members benefits. Now, world over, wherever you go, you will be told that this is a very progressive constitution. What has happened is that our good friends, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, having realized that there is fraud they committed in 2017, met and they shook hands. What happened? We have the famous handshake, which every Kenyan appreciated because it brought calm to the nation, that the people who were seceding from Nakuru downwards, that was calling itself the Republic of Kenya. Now, from Nakuru upwards, people are referring to it as the Central Republic of Kenya. Now, the country was going to the dogs. And if you remember, it was difficult to even move. Businesses were not performing. You heard of resist and what resist was able to do. You had somebody who was sworn in as the people's president, and then we had one who had been elected as the president of the republic. It was total anarchy. Whereas as a party, we embraced the spirit of the handshake because of the calm that was restored. We then became very jittery when we had the task force that was appointed, the 14-member task force. We made a presentation to the task force and we faulted the task force in terms of how it was constituted. That number one, whereas the constitution was providing for not more than 2/3 of appointive and elective offices, the task force only had 4 women out of 14 members. Already it was anti the constitution. And number two, whereas we have Article 100 of the Constitution that stipulates that we have the special interest groups who must be part and parcel of what happens. The task force did not even have a young person. There was no youth on the task force. So how do you expect that? Recovering youth, some of you refer to, some of us. How do we talk about youth matters when we are not youth? The fact that I want to pretend to be youthful doesn't mean that I can even understand your language. I could be sitting amongst you, but you are discussing me and I have no idea. So from the word go, when we made our presentation, we told the appointing authorities that the process was flawed. It was not adhering to the provisions of the Constitution. And right now, we are talking of the process. People have collected signatures. IDT is supposed to verify these signatures, and then the discussion is supposed to ensue, leading into a referendum in 2021. The question is this: where on earth has a task force been mandated to do a people's popular initiative? Signatures are being collected, and yet when BBI report 1 was released, no document was ever published. Nobody read the document in terms of the version that was produced. Those of you who had BBI documents, you know, the various fashions and facets it took. So we were told there was going to be BBI phase 2. In BBI phase 2, only 7 regions were visited, and those regions were visited with one sitting. Surely, do you tell me that one sitting in a region that is as big as the former Western province will have captured the views of the citizens of that vast former province? That you are talking of Busia County, Bungoma County, Kakamega County, Vihiga County, Kenyans making a presentation for the sitting of BBI phase 2. And the other question that is very pertinent is the TORs of BBI as contained in the Kenya Gazette are very clear. And those of you who listened to JK Live a month ago listened to Dr. Paul Mwangi, who was a joint secretary of BBI when he was on JK Live, and he actually blew the lead by saying, as a task force, they were never at any one moment informed that the views they were collecting were for constitutional reform or reviewing the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And it actually was very clear that this has a hidden hand of certain individuals whom I'm not going to name because your guess is as good as mine, that there are certain individuals who want to blindfold Kenyans and appear to be making Kenya better, whereas they are making it, they are using their private expectations and to hoodwink you and I that if this happens, it is going to make life very, very good. In the current constitution, we have a clear separation of duties that the legislature and the executive and the judiciary are all independent organs. In the BBI presentation and recommendation, you are seeing that the prime minister, who will be appointed by the president is executive, prime minister will be appointed from the National Assembly, meaning that is the legislature, but the prime minister will be the head of government, will be the one coordinating ministries, and so you have an octopus of one person prime minister who is in the legislature and who is in the executive. Conflict of interest. How do you draw a line between Tabu, the member of parliament of Budalangi, and Tabu, the prime minister of Kenya? So how do I stop being a member of the legislature to become now the member of the executive? Number two, you are hearing of this story of the executive in the judiciary, that somebody has to be the prefect. Look at what is happening, that prime minister shall be appointed from the National Assembly. And the 47 women seats are now out of National Assembly, they have been taken to Senate, in which case that the women of this country have a 0.00001 chance of being prime minister or being one of the deputy prime ministers. Because if you are in the Senate, appointment of a prime minister will not touch on you in the Senate. And you know where we are as a country. Electing women is still at all order. People still are octogenarian in their thinking. They are yet to embrace that women have the capacity to deliver, at times even better than the men. So you find that our ethnic mobilization, our cultural issues will lock out women from being elected into National Assembly. And yet you're coming up with a proposal that a prime minister has to be appointed from the National Assembly, where there are no what we call substantive number of women. What are you telling the women of this country? That muko tu lakini you don't you don't qualify. We can go on and on and on. We are also saying that the Constitution has provided that delimitation of boundaries is the work of IBC. And IBC will delimit boundaries based on certain criteria. The threshold has been given. It's either going to be to take issue with population, it's going to take issue with distance, it's going to take issue with infrastructure. Now, when you are telling Kenya that you have already allocated 70 new seats, and this out of these 70 new seats, there are 28 counties that are not having a seat. Are you not setting 20 the 19 against the 28? How do I feel when I look at that allocation to find that 40 of the 70 seats are going to a particular region? In which case, at every one city, that region shall control the politics of this country. That it is obvious the Prime Minister, if that region chooses to vote ethnically, they are going to have the numbers, therefore they will have the Prime Minister. And by extension, if the appointing authority is not alive to the face of Kenya, will still again appoint from the same people. So we have a scenario of either having a Luya president, just for example, and a Luya Prime Minister. Because if Luyas have the numbers and Tab is the president and he thinks ethnic, what will stop him from appointing another Luya Prime Minister? Where are the rest of the Kenyan tribes? Why should the appointing authority delimit the number of constituencies when the work has been set out for an independent commission? Look at it differently. What happens if today, God forbid, Bibi Ingine carries the day and there are 70 seats that have been allocated, and IBC sets out to do boundary delimitation? And at that point, the boundary delimitation of IBC finds that the limitation by the Bibi Ingine train is not in conformity with what the law provides. Are we not going to have a recipe for chaos? It is important that we look at how do we secure this me, the rest can go to hell. It is either my way or the highway, as some people are popularly put it. Now, looking at the current discussion on BBI, as a party, we are fronting what we call Linda Katiba. Why are we in the Linda Katiba framework? We are saying, one, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 has not even been fully implemented. Maraga gave an advisory opinion, and you are aware that petitioner number 1 to Maraga to dissolve parliament is our very own Mrs. Margaret Toili of Bungoma County. That Toili wrote to the CJ after 2 failed attempts by National Assembly to implement the legislative framework that would allow attainment of not more than 2/3 gender rule to be achieved in parliament. After that, Maraga gave the advisory, and it's an advisory until it is implemented. We recognize the fact that that is what the law says. But after that advisory, which means there is deficiency, Parliament has not acted on what the Constitution has provided. And we were very clear in 2010 during the making of this Constitution, the current one, on what our position was with regard to the position of the women of this country. We therefore cannot be joining the bandwagon that is clawing back on the gains of 2010. That before the women of Kenya enjoy the fruits of 2010, we are in 2020 telling them that, come on, you guys, kaeni hivyo hivyo, mvumilie tu, sisi tukikula ninyi mnameza mnameza mate, as at some time we were told that watu wanakula nyama na wengine wanameza mate. So the architecture of the current constitution, in our view as a political party, has a lot to benefit our members, has a lot to benefit Kenyans. So we can't be very excited to actually to take, you have bought a new cloth, you've not even fitted that new cloth to know how it fits, whether it is small size or oversize. Then you're already going to the tailor, telling the tailor, kata hapa. So what exactly are you telling Kenyans? That you are actually disregarding the work that they did in 2017. We are in Linda Katiba because the Constitution has provided safety nets. The Constitution has provided checks and balances in terms of if every office is doing what it's supposed to do, then there is no point where we are going to have a coalition of any sort. That we will never be at loggerheads because the executive will know it starts here and ends here. The legislature will pick from here and stop there, and the judiciary will know this is what we are supposed to do. Currently, the Constitution provides that the bare minimum for national government to provide in terms of the revenue sharing to the counties is not less than 15%. But the law does not stop the government, the national government, from giving 100% to counties. So what business do we have to be told that for us to increase money to the counties from the current 15% to 35%, we need to have a referendum? That is hoodwinking Kenya. If anything, even the current 15% has never been attained. Government, National Assembly and Senate agrees on what framework in terms of allocation. This year, you saw that counties were starved of money because there was no agreement between National Assembly and Senate until they had 11 sittings, and one of them having the leadership of the assemblies in State House. You think they went to State House na wakatoka huko hivyo? I have not said anything. What I'm saying is that if we cannot agree in terms of allocation, and if we cannot disburse what we have agreed upon in terms of that allocation, which is still at 15%, how sure are we that when it goes to 35%, it will work? A 15% is about 340 B. Now, if we are going to go to 35%, we are talking of more than 700 B. Really, are we going to do it? Governors have been cheated, and some of them are actually very excited that more money is coming. The other question is this: extra funds, what are they going to do? Money is supposed to follow functions. Are there new functions apart from those that are given in the schedule in the Constitution that counties are supposed to be running? And if anything, if counties have not even accounted for what they have received in the past, how sure are we that when you double that allocation, it is going to be any better? Really, are we at a point where we are rewarding thievery? Are we as a country going to say that let wapewe tu pesa alafu hiyo ingine tutauliza baadaye? The reason why we are saying pesa ya mwananchi lazima ilindwe by us kulinda katiba. Selfishly speaking, as a political party, you know, the current Constitution and the Political Parties Act provides that there shall be nomination. As a party, we talk of 50-50 representation for both gender. In 2013 and 2017, there were what we call affirmative action seats that ensured that where less women have been elected, then the void shall be filled by the nominations. in the current Bibingine proposals, the parties are not going to be strengthened, parties are going to be weakened. The political parties fund currently is enjoyed by two political parties, that is ODM and Jubilee. There is a statement in the Bibingine that sharing of resources by parties shall take this format. I can tell you that the current law provides 0.03% of audited accounts to be given to political parties. In this current financial dispensation, only 700 million was provided to political parties to be shared between ODM and Jubilee. But 0.03% is 4 billion. So government is just hoodwinking people everywhere. Government is not giving the resources. As I conclude on Bibingine, the reason why we are in this business of Kulinda Katiba, you know that there are provisions in the Katiba that those in power do not want to happen, that complaints are alive, that the current constitution has given Kenyans a lot of freedom, that the Kenyans have a lot of power, beginning with Article 1 that says the sovereignty, power belongs to the people. Allow me just to read chapter 1 of that constitution, then I conclude on this Bibingine and move to the next item for us to continue. That Article 1, the sovereignty of the people, that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya, and it shall be exercised only in accordance with this constitution. That statement, where some people are not happy with it, that power belongs to you, and that everything that they do has to be in accordance with the constitution, which has given you power. People out there want to ensure that you lose your power, and therefore they will do things not in conformity to the constitution, not in conformity with the power that you will either exercise directly or indirectly, but they want to do things their own way. And as a party a party whose one of its core values is the rule of law, we have to protect the rule of law, and the rule of law, currently speaking, is enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya and all other relevant legislations that are in existence. Moving into the current political dispensation that has brought us at the Bibingine level is 2022 in perspective, that as a party, it's either a make or break. Why am I saying that? That 2022 is a time when the party has to redeem itself. That the party has to move away from being non-parliamentary to being parliamentary. That the party has to move from being minority to majority, or to sizable minority or opposition, so to speak. And therefore, it calls upon you as a member of this party in terms of how are you organizing your mobilization of members? How are you dealing with the issue of recruitment in the area that you hail from? How are you putting structures in place to ensure that you will not be the only one carrying the Narc Kenya banner in your area, and that you're going to come as a package? That for us to achieve the 2/3 gender rule that we are working hard to protect under the Linda Katiba initiative, that in an area of 10 wards, for example, that you are able to recruit or to influence membership to the party that will ensure that if we don't have 5 men and 5 women, we either have 6 women and 4 men. And out of these number, we have the young women, the young men, the old women, the old men, so that we have a blend as a party. That 2022 that is too close to us and is too close to calling some other people's statements presents a unique situation for the party to actually rebrand, for the party to rejuvenate, and for the party to metamorphosize from what it is today. We are very thin, but we have the ability. We have the ability to be big. What are you doing? What am I doing to ensure that this 2022 scenario does not leave us as a party bare as was the case in 2017? What are you doing from where you sit that will propel this party or will spur this party to its political growth? What is it that you are doing as an individual to ensure that if you are not running, then there is somebody running? What is your contribution to furthering or enhancing the tenets of democracy in Kenya at the party level and multi-party democracy in Kenya at now what we are calling the inter-party? That at the intra-party level, we are competing on a platform that is not discriminative in nature. And at the national level, we are also having we are also having what we call presence, and presence that is sizable, presence that can be felt, and as a party we will say yes. So I want to challenge you as I draw close, then we receive, I open up to conversation, that the charge you have as a member of this party, number one, is to ask yourself, am I running in 2022? If the answer is yes, what am I doing to ensure that that is just not running for the sake of running, that you're going to vie for a seat and there's going to be impact? Your candidacy or your candidature shall impact, that you are not going to say, kura hazikutosha. This time round, I want us to meet, and when we are doing our induction, and then we say, kura zilitosha, because you are able to lay your ground, you are able to put your infrastructure in place, you are able to address what needs to be addressed by every candidate vying for an elective position, and members who are able to deliver you as their rep in the National Assembly, in the Senate, at the gubernatorial level, either as a governor or a deputy governor or as a member of the county assembly, so that infrastructure cannot wait until 2022. If you are late, then by February, March next year, you should actually be saying, now I'm rolling out my campaign strategy. By June, you must be having everything that you want in place already set. Beyond June, we'll just be saying we are part of the statistics, which I don't think we should be as a party. That we don't need to be part of the menu to be eaten, but we have to be at the table discussing the menu, and that will help the party. So that is charge number one for you, that if you are running, put your act together. If you are not running, then identify one who will carry the party banner, and then work with him or her along this path. That let us get to know who he or she is, so that when we have meetings of aspirants, when we have trainings geared towards campaign 2022, then we are able to have him or her on board. Number two, that wherever you are, you should be beginning to think, how are we going to have our party list? Now, party list will not be drawn from non-members. Party list shall be drawn from members and active members for that matter. Looking at the category of membership of Narc Kenya, we have ordinary membership, the one that we say is for people who are just supporting the party. We have Ruby at 6,000. Ordinary is 20 shillings, just to remind you. Ruby is 6,000. You can't run on Ruby. Emerald, which is 12,500. You can't run on Emerald. Currently, members of county assemblies are running at Bronze, which is 30,000, 25,000, so to speak. Or you want to be in the National Assembly or Senate at Silver at 55,000, or you want to be a governor or deputy governor at Gold for 90,000, or you want to run for presidency at Platinum, which is 135,000 shillings. So in terms of membership, are you up to date, or are you waiting until 2022 when you come over to the secretariat, and us who are at the secretariat keeping your records now read a riot act and say, since 2017, you did not subscribe in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 5,000 per year. So if you are a member at bronze level as we speak right now, you owe this party 20,000 shillings. At 2021, it will be 25,000. At 2022, it will be 30,000. You are going to complain that the party is charging too much. Yet, for every year that you are supposed to pay 5,000, you just enjoyed the money. You forgot that 2022 was coming. So what am I telling you? That it is high time you realize that in 2022, the arrears you are carrying, ole wako, tutaitisha. Hello, tutaitisha. And we will not smile. Wakati huo tutaweka sura ya kazi. So please be aware that you need to deal with that. You need to know that it is going to work. Now, number two, that as we move to 2022, if you are bringing on board somebody to run, this person has to understand what we stand for as a party in terms of expectations. We don't want to have last minute aspirants. Mtu akipita kura hata ajui chama inasimamia nini. Ukimpigia simu mwambie now you are supposed to attend a meeting, anakuambia sasa hiyo si tulimaliza siasa. Let us have members who understand and appreciate how we operate as a party. Number three, that your other charge is to ensure that you are compliant in terms of the legal regime. Ensure that compliance issues around the election, you don't have issues with them. Please, if you have not been paying your KRA, ensure that you're paying your KRA. If you have any loan at HELB, ensure that you have worked hard to ensure that that happens, so that when the legal regime is out, you don't have an issue. Don't spend a lot of time in Nairobi trying to undo what you should have done previously or in the preceding years. Nairobi, let it be for Nairobians who want to engage. But where ensure that your mashinani issues are clean and your individual issues are also dealt with appropriately. And those who are asking kama kona madeni, kindly come to the office. Asitaki kufungua uchi wa watu hapa. Ukija kwa ofisi tutakufungulia mashtaka yako na utayajibu hayo mashtaka. But just to know that since 2017 kama hujafanya subscription ni wewe unasema, sio mimi, because the figures don't lie. The last thing that I want to say as a charge is that in the area where you are, what kind of influence are you having in terms of bringing the party to bear on that area? Please don't be that selfish to ensure that information that you receive, even from today's discussion, that is only with you. we can't have more than what we are able to have, and with the courtesy of our sponsors, help members to understand that this is why the party exists. This is what has been the trend in the existence of the party. And with that, I wish to say that I have come to the end of my very long presentation, and I wish that we engage. If people who have questions are free to ask. People who have clarifications are free to ask. And people who also just want to provide feedback and way forward, you are good to go. Thank you very much for listening to me for that long. Raise your hand. Kama uko na swali, wale wanauliza maswali kwa chat pia. Thank you for the comments kwa chat. Wale wanauliza madeni yao, tafadhali kujeni kwa ofisi, tutajibu. Yes, Tuwei. Unmute, please. Bado uko muted, Tuwei. Tumia nguvu kidogo. Isaac.
Let me
tell technician to unmute our people, because Tuwei can't unmute, please.
You can now proceed.
Proceed, Tuwei. Thank you, Isaac.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tabu, for having me on board, and thank you for the team on Zoom. You have spoken on various aspects and issues, and I would like to maybe add my views on what you have discussed on factors about on factors that strengthen or weaken the party. Once again, I would like to say that physical appearance is key, and when we have our party leader, maybe when we have our party leader dealing with broad perspective of Linda Katiba, that is one, and we congratulate her for that. Also, it gives us an opportunity also as foot soldiers to work with her solidly in backing what she stands for. And also, we can say that by strengthening the party, we can strengthen the party in areas where the party is not felt. Like, for example, tukienda mashinani, kwa zile mahali chama haijasimama kidete, maybe tunaweza enda pale, we do like a road campaign in order to emphasize our stand on some issues, so that people will always note our presence at the right time. Yani, we appear at the right time for the right idea. Also, I can say that probably the reason why the party has not been popular so far is that most of the time, maybe we are being punished for taking strict stand against something. Like Stephen, the matter in the Bible, he was stoned by standing by the faith of God. So probably you said that 2017 we campaigned and drum support for His Excellency Muigai Uhuru to run for the presidency. But also, did we have anything in return from the president? If we had and we didn't take, is it a punishment for us, so that in future, if tunarudishiwa mkono, tunachukua what we have been given, so that we can help those who are maybe jobless, tunawabeba, because when we all stand, let's say, in opposition or stand outside of the government, we don't enjoy what other people are enjoying in the government. Tutabaki hivyo milele. Na pia umesema 2022 is a great moment for a party to redeem itself. By redeeming itself, it says maybe tunaweza legeza kamba kiasi so that we swim with the tide. The strong tide that comes, we swim with it, like the 2002, where Emilio Mwai Kibaki came, swim with the tide, and National Rainbow Coalition Party won, and it was the party for that time. We need also to revive this party and work steadfastly to stand with it so that tunaweza onekana Kenya mzima. Jambo lingine ningependa kusema, nimeona you are very keen kwa ile pesa tutalipa ya chama, na ni mzuri umetukumbusha. Kwa upande wangu, I will commit myself. Umesema hutaki kutuanika, but ni sawa. Ni sawa, tunajijua. So I'll make something so that by February next year, at least my membership on personal level will be active. Do I have something else to add? Let me see. Tunasema.
Are you done, Troy?
Okay, maybe I'll give time for others, and then nitaomba ruhusa nikitoka.
No, just finish. If it's one issue, just bring it up so that others wachangia, alafu we respond.
Yes, about the sovereignty. The sovereignty, you say, it belongs to the people, and it is for us to act on that. The power belongs to the people. You see, according to BBI, for example, you can see the majority have their way, the way you said, and if it is not their way, it is an highway for others. So you can see that majority of politicians, when they grab microphone, they hoodwink Kenyans to believe what it is not there. For example, can we rush and believe that the collection of 4 million signatures were done in 2 weeks? Third Way Party Alliance party leader Mr. Ikuru Okotu is reportedly saying that his signature was captured without his consent. So you can see that some Kenyans are being hoodwinked somewhere, and it is for us to stand firm and say no to those malicious acts. We have on record the party leader for CCM party, Mr. Isaac Ruto, who was seriously campaigning previously that money follow functions to the devolved governments or devolved units, and seriously he worked and came up with his party, with his chama cha mashinani, and had the 15%. If the 15% has not been implemented to the grassroots, what does he stand for now to tell the wananchi that he needs the implementation of 35% when he himself knows that it is not practical at the moment? And also to emphasize on the issue that you just noted, if we have not enjoyed the 2010 constitution currently, why is the hurry to implement this Katiba? So we, as foot soldiers, let's stand strongly behind our party chair and give out our views. Let's make our standard be known to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Tab.
Thank you very much, Abwana. Quickly, before the next person, I want to say that tukumbuke CCM ni chukua chako mapema. So kama unaweza chukua chako mapema, the rest is not for you. The selfish me, 4 million signatures is not possible. I was at home over the weekend and I was being told people are being threatened. The old people are being told ile pesa unapata ile 2,000 kwa mwezi itakatwa. So people who didn't go to school, there was no provision ya kutumia thumb. How they were signing, God knows. Number 3, the other people who teachers were being told, oh, wewe unapinga serikali. So it was a lot of threats. I want to say, yes, they have collected, they are priding in 5.25 million signatures collected in 1.5 weeks. Sawa, debe iko. Kwa debe, sijui watafanya nini. Kama kutakuwa na vifaranga wa computer, that is it. Now, in terms of kulegeza kamba and going with the strong current, you remember I said that we are in consultation. As a party, we are open to discussion. All that the party is looking for is how do we have a formidable force that will deliver to Kenyans what Kenyans' dream is. And Kenyans want, those in business, they want to have a business environment where their businesses will thrive. They don't want to have these 1,000,001 licenses. Usijui umekata license ya wapi na wapi na wapi. And at the end of it all these organizations don't do anything for you. Ni pesa yako tu inahitajika. If it's our school system, currently mnasikia kwamba tunafungua shule tarehe 4 Januari. Lakini even the nearest primary school that you have or secondary school at your home, ukienda huko ni vile tu ilikuwa kabla ya COVID. Sasa watoto wetu wakienda shule, are we really prepared? So we are saying a conversation around like-minded individuals who are going to deliver for this nation. That is our dream. Number 3, in 2017, we supported the current presidency. Unfortunately, they were looking for an individual. They were not looking for the organization. And I want to thank Chair for this, that Chair has felt she is not Narc Kenya, she's just Honorable Martha Karua. If they are saying they want to give you a cabinet position, and when you say, I have served this country, give this position to Samuel Tuwei, who is a member of Narc Kenya, and then they say, no, we wanted you. You know, that defeats the purpose, because Chair was saying, it is the party that supported you. It is not Martha Karua as an individual. And therefore, anything you have for the party should actually be the party to decide who benefits from it. But you cannot dictate that we want you, and if it is not you, then nothing else. That kind of scenario forced to it. And also Mheshimiwa realized that the people who are in that cabinet all in Mikora. So imagine that you are going to have a government where Honorable Martha Karua is a cabinet secretary with all these scandals. Angeambia nini wa Kenya? So angesema you are the scandals. Unatuambia nini na ulikuwa pale. So yes, I know it has been a hard time for the party, but I think it has been also important that the party gets to know. Now, the other thing we have raised, which is very critical, is that we need to have profiling and visibility of the party. Let it be your responsibility of each one of us to be visible and to profile the party. The national officials will do their bit, but locally, you know, from your house to your polling station, you don't need transport. Isn't that so? It is easier to gather people around your polling station without facilitation. So if each one of us will take advantage of the proximity of their houses to their polling stations and gather people around that polling station and continue to have a conversation about profiling and visibility of the party, then we will be mashinani 100%. But if we are going to wait for these meetings, tunakuita kama Nakuru, you come to Nakuru town, either twende Merika, ama twende Mboita, ama twende Sarova, unajua ni wewe peke yako utakuja. The rest of the people watabaki pale mashinani. Let us have this conversation devolved up to that particular level. Lastly, before the next person speaks, you raised a very critical issue also in terms of physical appearance, yes, which is a plus on the part of the party members. How does your village take you? Do you present yourself as a credible member of that village or that sub-location or that location? Do people come to you to seek for guidance? Or are you aloof? Are you this Kenyan, unaingia kwako usiku, unatoka mapema, hata jirani ya kujui, then election time, unakuja unasema mimi nataka kiti ya MCA, and then utauliza umekuwa wapi? So let us avoid hiyo umekuwa wapi scenario. Ile ingine sitaongea because nimesema sitaki kuanika uchi wa watu, but kuna swali limekuja kwa mtandao about how do people pay. Payments to the party are threefold. Number one, we have a party pay bill number 877558. That is the pay bill number, and the business name is Narc Kenya Party. If you send that, if you send money to that pay bill, itakuletea report. Number two, you also are free to come to the National Secretariat and make payments. You will be issued with a receipt and the rest will follow. Number three, we have the party account. If you have a pen, you can write it is Narc Kenya Cooperative Bank. Account number is 011 200 111 002. If you pay money to that account, you will bring us you can mail the receipt or you can WhatsApp and then we will do the necessary. But remember, we have two forms that you have to fill, which you give to your members. The statutory form from the office of the registrar, which is called Part 3 verification, and the party membership form, which you can always download from our website. Those are how we deal in terms of payments. Another contribution from members. Today, I think I have responded to your concerns. Kama kuna ingine tutaendelea kuongea. Nani mwingine akona swali ama akona jambo la kuchangia? Okay, there is also another information from a question that has been asked. The people who vied in 2017, where are they? Wale walikuja kwa chama wakisema wamelemewa blah 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 blah, and their decisions were taken and they were given free nominations as put in this chart. The question is that the party is not in the business of barring members from running for office. And there are circumstances where individuals want to run, but they have certain challenges. And if those challenges are presented, like in 2017, when they were presented, the NEC took a decision, and there are people who got waivers courtesy of their challenges. But I like the concern from this member that now, where are these people? So the question is, do we still listen to people who have their concerns, and yet once they have been assisted by the party, they take off? That is for you. One member is asking maneno ya CRB ya party. Oh, okay, fine. Kama uko kwa CRB ya party, tafadhali jiondoe kwa CRB ya party. The other member. Looks like.
I have a question.
Hello? Nani anainua mkono? Yes, Macrin.
Macrin, yes.
Please proceed, Macrin.
To CRB and mambo ya subscription. You had a very good presentation, which I think members should concentrate also on, not mambo za deni, carry the day and forget what you have really shared with us. The multi-party democracy state we are. And I had a question on the issue of ORPP, or Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. And my question was, it's a two-in-one question. The Office of Registrar of Political Parties, do they have a set limit of numbers of political parties they are going to register for a period of time, or are they open to the very end that each of us or each of the Kenyans can register their own party with their own names or something? The question is, do they have a limit of registration of political parties? Now that numbers do not lie, and you have shown us from 2013 to 2017, numbers are still, even 2020, numbers are still rising of registered political parties. And number two is the set limit of parliament that prevent small parties, small in quote, the parties that are very active and they are considered to be small, and they are being prevented by the parliament or by any institution, the institution that prevents political party from getting political party funds to be able to exercise their political rights or to have activities. So those are my two questions away from the membership and the one that is carrying the day. Please help us understand.
Thank you very much, Macqueen, for those two wonderful questions. Number one, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties does not have mandate to limit the number of political parties. The Political Parties Act provides that a party can be registered depending on the set criteria. Here is you need to pay what we call the provisional registration, which is 100,000 shillings, and then you need to have a name. You then need to recruit 1,000 members in at least 24 counties, which they call a majority of counties. And then thereafter, you apply for what we call full registration, at which point you would have satisfied the 24 county membership and having offices in those 24 counties, and then pay 500,000 shillings for you to get your full registration. So the law as it is currently doesn't give her leverage to stop the number of political parties. They will proliferate for as long as that law is in existence. Number two, on the issue of the political parties fund, the law is very clear. The amended Political Parties Act provides that for a party to access a political parties fund, one, that party must have 3 elected governors and 3 elected senators and 20 elected members of parliament and 40 elected MCAs, and that party must have garnered 3% of the total vote at a preceding general election. So this criteria was set by the National Assembly, which is a departure from the earlier criteria where for you to access political parties fund, you needed to have been registered as a party, you needed to have participated in an election, and regardless of the number of votes you garnered, therefore, funding was at pro rata level. 15% was given to all political parties equally. Then 80% was given to parties depending on the number of votes that you garnered, and 5% was given to the registrar for administrative of the fund. Currently, the scenario is that 5% is given to the registrar for administration of the fund, 15% is given to the parties for elected SIGs, then 80% is shared by parties pro rata. So it is one thing that the law has provided, the legislative arm of government has provided, and therefore registrar only implements that which has been provided. The Constitution also in Article 38 that gives you the freedom to form and join a party has not given a limit to the number of political parties that can be in existence in a given country. So as we are, the best we can do as Narc Kenya is to ensure that one, we become the party of choice for most Kenyans, that we come up with programs that are going to attract membership, that we are going to sell the image of this nation and present and sell hope to the Kenyans that this is where your life is and your life will be made better when we are in power. I think collectively as members and looking for those who are thinking like we are thinking, we can always achieve this dream. It is a challenge. The registrar can't do anything because that is what the law provides. Any other concern? Because I can see we are beyond 120, and Isaac may be raising a red flag. If what I am seeing is the position that nobody has a concern, I want to say from my end now as a facilitator, let me say this, then I bring in Isaac, and then I'll close now at the it has been nice seeing you, listening to this conversation. I kindly sent your email to share the information that we have shared, so that you have time to continue empowering yourself with the same. Number 3, that remember to stay alive to the political conversation around you, knowing very well that 2022 is not very firm. Then number 3, because we are fronting the Linda Katiba initiative, please begin to reactivate your networks. Ensure that you have active listenership and membership at whatever level within your area. Time will come when we shall be asking for people to do mobilization. If we are going to go to the referendum, then we will need agents as Linda Katiba initiative. We cannot draw agents from elsewhere. In 2010, we had agents. We were supporting yes, but we were supporting yes as Narc Kenya. Therefore, we had our role of agents who are paid for that work. So please don't wait until it is too late. Number 2, ensure that you also understand the issues that are around this Bibingine. Please don't speak from a point of ignorance, because if you do that, you will not be the best ambassador for this party. Be the best ambassador by having the issues as they are, understanding them, and please don't be confrontational in your approach to these issues. Please, facts are very stubborn. You don't need to force things. Just take the facts as they are and let the individuals go home knowing that indeed there is substance in what this a member of Narc Kenya is presenting. Lastly but not least, remember it is your civic duty, and it is also my civic duty, to defend the Constitution of Kenya. And this is what I'm going to read last as I invite Isaac, courtesy of this presentation. Article number 3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 reads as follows. Defense of this Constitution. 1. Every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this Constitution. I repeat. Every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this Constitution. Please don't tire to do that. 2, any attempt to establish a government otherwise than in compliance with this Constitution is unlawful. I repeat. 3.2, any attempt to establish a government otherwise than in compliance with this Constitution is unlawful. As a political party, we cannot be part of number 2. As a political party, we can only be part of number 1. We have that civic duty to respect, to defend, to uphold the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And that is why any attempts to repeat, we cannot be part of the rapists. It's unfortunate that certain individuals imagine that Kenya is theirs to rape. We will not be part. Isaac, over to you. Isaac Kinyua. Isaac, unmute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Tabu. Yes, we experienced some internet challenge. I did not hear you calling me, but thank you so much for the wonderful presentation for the party members, taking them through the state of multi-party democracy, as was presented by Professor Muko Anangwe, but in regards to the state of affairs of Narc Kenya Party. And it is our belief that here from CMD Kenya that the paper and the recommendations of the paper are going to continue giving an opportunity, role and civic duty as faithful and committed members of the party. And we also believe that the party is still, because we are still in is going by, there are more changes that are coming in the political atmosphere, but we believe the party is
Oh, we have lost Isaac. Money has been poured.
sorry for that, Tabo.
Karibu, we're back.
Can you hear me? So I was saying we are delighted for you taking time to take through the members to the presentation on the state of multi-party democracy in Kenya, and specific regards to the state of affairs in Narc Kenya Party. And we believe that in CMD Kenya, that Narc Kenya is going to continue playing its role in this competitive democratic environment, and continue playing its civic duty as an institution of governance, as you have said, in spearheading and protecting the constitution, in also protecting the multi-party democracy. And yeah, we have the BBI discussion. We may not agree on how you are calling it, but it is a conversation that Kenyans need to continue having, because it affects our way of life, our politics, and also our political parties, because they play a very key role when it comes to our governance. Thank you so much from CMD Kenya on behalf of our secretariat. Tunashukuru sana, and we look forward to having more engagements in the future. Thank you so much. Na asanteni sana. Members can now leave on their own pleasure.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for that. Members, remember that Kenya ni yetu. Yesterday, an initiative was launched called Kenya ni mimi. Please, Kenya ni wewe. Ikiharibika, you have nowhere to run to. Tafadhali, let us participate in everything that is happening around us, knowing that we have a civic duty to protect our country as Kenyans. Anything that is unlawful as a party, we don't encourage. We are a party that respects the rule of law. And I wish you well in your daily endeavors. Let the conversation continue. Discuss BBI and enlighten members of the public on BBI issues. Let us grow the party.